You have never actually heard your own voice, not once in your life. Science has already proven this. The sound you think is your voice is a private illusion built entirely inside your own skull. Think about the last time you heard a voice memo of yourself. That little flinch, that quiet horror, that tiny voice in your head whispering, "Is that really me?" You are not alone in that moment. Almost every human who has pressed play on their own recording has felt the same shiver of rejection. It is one of the most universal experiences on the planet, and almost nobody understands why it happens. But here's the thing: the voice you know is not the one other people actually hear from you. Let's slow down and look at what is actually going on inside your head every single time you speak. Every time you talk, two completely different voices exist at the exact same moment in your reality.
One voice travels outward through the air, bouncing off walls, slipping into other people's waiting ears nearby. That is the external voice, the voice strangers know, the voice your mother heard the day she named you, the voice your partner falls asleep to every night. Then there is a second voice, a private one, a voice that only you can hear. It plays inside the bone of your own skull and head. It has been playing in there since the very first day you ever learned how to cry out. Scientists call the collision between these two voices a powerful psychological phenomenon known as voice confrontation effect. When you hear a recording of yourself, the private voice suddenly vanishes and only the external one remains. Your brain panics. It does not recognize the speaker. It rejects the sound almost instantly and viscerally. It rejects the sound the way it would reject a stranger quietly reading your private diary aloud. Your sense of personal identity is quietly, invisibly tied to the sound of your own familiar voice. So, when that sound shifts, even just slightly, something deep inside you tilts and feels suddenly wrong. There is a second sound path inside your body that you have never even once noticed before. If you want to know what it is, subscribe for more deep mind discoveries like this one. To understand what your brain is doing, you need to know how hearing actually works. Sound is just vibration. When somebody speaks across the room, their vocal cords push waves of air into your ear canal and eardrum, into a tiny spiral organ called the cochlea. That is called air conduction, the standard route microphones capture. But your own voice does not only travel that way. Your vocal cords also vibrate your jaw bones, your skull, your teeth, the tiny bones inside your inner ear. That second route is called bone conduction, and it is exclusive. Nobody else on Earth has access to it. Only you ever hear that hidden channel. These two signals, air and bone, arrive at the cochlea at almost the same instant, blending into one experience, one voice, the voice you have lived with your entire life. But the moment a microphone records you, only the air conduction signal gets captured. The bone conduction half is stripped away forever, gone from playback. What you hear on playback is half the story, half the voice, the version always missing the secret bass. But the bones aren't the whole twist. Here is what makes bone conduction so strange. Bones are extremely dense.
They carry low frequencies far better than they carry high ones, so your skull secretly boosts the bass. Your inner voice sounds deeper than it actually is, richer, warmer, more confident, more commanding than reality suggests. Studies suggest the bone-conducted signal can add a low-frequency boost of around 200 Hz to you. 200 Hz is the difference between a thin voice and a thick one, between child and leader. That is why almost everyone, when they hear a recording, says the same sentence. I sound thin and nasal. You don't sound that way to the world. You sound that way without the bass hiding inside your skull. Your brain has been adding a filter to every word you ever spoke, and you never knew it. Why would evolution build such a strange system? Scientists believe constant self-monitoring was absolutely critical for early survival. Early humans needed to control volume, pitch, and emotion in their voices, especially in danger or social bonding. Bone conduction gave the brain a faster, cleaner channel to track its own speech. A built-in studio monitor. A feedback loop that let you fine-tune your tone without waiting for the slower air signal. It was efficient, it was elegant, and it became the foundation of how you experience yourself out loud. Yet there's a deeper psychological layer underneath. In 1966, psychiatrist Philip Holzman ran a quietly disturbing experiment. He recorded patients speaking, then played the recordings back to them. The reactions were extreme. People became anxious. Some refused to keep listening. Some claimed the recording was broken or that somebody else had been speaking. Holzman coined the term voice confrontation to describe this distress. It was not a problem with the recording, it was a problem with identity. The brain had spent decades building a private image of the self, and the recorded voice did not match it. The mismatch, Holzman wrote, felt like a small death. Contrary to popular belief, this isn't acoustic. It's the gap between who you think you are and what others hear. Your inner voice carries your sense of self, confidence, authority, warmth. Strangers don't hear those things the way you do. They hear something else, something thinner, something more honest. When the recording arrives, your brain enters a tiny crisis. The map of you doesn't match the territory of you. Now imagine what your brain hides on purpose. The strangest twist isn't acoustic, it's neurological. Every time you speak, your brain sends out an internal whisper. Scientists call it a corollary discharge. It tells your auditory system, hey, this sound's coming from me, ignore it. Your brain literally dampens its response to your own voice. It predicts what you'll say and subtracts it from hearing. It does this so your speech doesn't drown out the world, so you can hear danger over your own footsteps. It does this so you remain tuned to reality. But here's the twist. The same circuit explains something stranger. You know how you can't tickle yourself? Same circuit. Your brain predicts your fingers and cancels the surprise. The same mechanism predicts the sound of your own voice and quiets it. Self-generated signals are always softened. So even your private voice, the one with bone-conducted bass, is already censored from what's actually happening in your throat. You've never heard yourself raw, not even close. The version you know is already a filtered draft of you. When that prediction circuit breaks down, strange things happen. In schizophrenia, scientists believe the corollary discharge fails entirely. The brain stops labeling inner speech as self-generated. You hear your own thoughts as if a stranger spoke them. An auditory hallucination is, in part, your own voice that your brain forgot to mark as yours. It's one of the most haunting findings in neuroscience. The same circuit hiding your voice keeps your self-boundary intact. Professional singers know this circuit differently. Many now wear bone conduction monitors during performance to feel their own voice.
These devices vibrate the skull directly, so the singer hears their voice the way it sounds inside their head. It restores the private bass, the inner version of the self, even on a loud stage with roaring crowds. Without it, even trained singers drift off pitch, because the voice in the room differs from the voice inside. The real shock is what this whole circuit means about reality and how thin your inner boundary truly is. Step back for a second. If you've never heard your real voice, what else have you never heard? Turns out, every sense you have is filtered before it reaches you. Your brain doesn't receive reality. It builds reality, frame by frame, from guesses, shortcuts, and old memories, quietly editing every channel before you notice. It deletes the sound of your blinking. It deletes the feeling of your tongue resting in your mouth. It deletes the pressure of your clothes on your skin. It deletes the constant thump of your own pulse. If it didn't, you would drown in sensation. So you walk around inside a curated version of the world, a movie your brain writes in real time. Hearing is just the easiest illusion to expose with a microphone. Imagine you're living inside a private theater, where the projector also writes the script as the film plays. That's closer to the truth of being a person than anything else. Your voice is just that theater soundtrack. beautiful, intimate, and not entirely real. So, what are you actually supposed to do with this knowledge now? Here's the part that might surprise you. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple, and almost nobody does it. Record yourself. Often. The flinch you feel isn't permanent. It's a calibration error your brain corrects within weeks. Public speakers, actors, podcasters, all of them do exactly this. They press play, they cringe, then play again. By week 3, the cringe is gone, and the stranger on the recording starts to sound like a friend.
But here's the twist most people miss. The voice you've been avoiding is the voice your family loves. It's the voice your closest friends recognize across a crowded room, carrying every idea you've ever shared. If you've spent years flinching away, you've been flinching from the version of you everyone else already keeps close. You are not learning a new voice, you are meeting your real one for the very first time. And one open question about that voice still haunts neuroscientists. A question no scientist has yet answered. If two people hear the same recording, do they hear the same timbre, same warmth, same color of sound? The brain of every listener is different. Each has its own filters, its own predictions, its own quiet edits. The voice that lands inside your friend's head may not match the voice that lands inside yours at all. Nobody can prove otherwise. Nobody can step inside another mind and check what the voice truly sounds like there. This is part of an old mystery scientists call the problem of qualia, the private quality of experience itself, the redness of red, the painfulness of pain, the timbre of a voice. We can measure frequencies and waveforms, but we simply cannot measure what those waveforms actually feel like inside somebody else's private awareness or mind. Your voice sounds one way to your mother, another to your best friend, another to a coffee shop stranger. Each of them hears a version of you that you yourself will never get to access or hear. You are, in a sense, many voices at once, a whole choir of yous scattered across other minds. None of them quite match the one inside your own skull. But before you go, one quick thing matters. If this idea unsettled you a little, sit with it for a long, quiet moment longer than usual. It is one of those rare, strange facts about being human that quietly reshapes the entire picture. The voice, the self, the senses, the quiet machinery humming underneath every moment of your daily life. If you want more hidden mechanisms like this one, subscribe and stay close to the channel here. Tell me in the comments what you actually felt the first time you heard a recording of yourself. Did you laugh? Did you cringe?
Did you completely refuse to believe that voice was really you? And if you want to go deeper, watch the next one, where we unpack an even stranger illusion. The strange reason you cannot tickle yourself and what that quiet failure reveals about consciousness itself entirely. Keep watching closely for the next hidden illusion waiting quietly beneath your